Hey everyone! So as you can see, today's video is going to be about one of the most popular ships in Star Citizen, the Vanguard series. There are 4 variants of the Aegis Vanguard, but I ended up buying the Harbinger in game since it was a good deal at just a bit over 2 million Alpha UEC, and it has more missile carrying ability than the other variants. The other variants are the Sentinel, which is focused on E-warfare and has an EMP, the Hoplite, which acts as a dropship by having extra space to carry troops, and the Warden, which is just a heavy fighter. Besides these small differences in what they specialize in, the only difference between Vanguards is what their stock loadout is. So the Vanguard series has an interesting set of weapon hardpoints, with a size 5 nose hardpoint that is gimbaled by default, and 4 fixed size 2 mounts. And these size 2 mounts are specific to the Vanguard, and only accept weapons that are specifically designed for the Vanguards. This isn't too big of an issue because there are enough variants of these weapons that you should be able to find something that you like. It's just an interesting design choice. So this Harbinger I have here comes stocked with ballistic cannons for the size 2 guns and also a gimbaled size 4 ballistic cannon. I think this loadout would be fine for taking on larger ships, like Cutlass size and up, but for taking on smaller fighters I usually like to have weapons with a bit higher of a rate of fire. Going up against Buccaneers and stuff, I was having a hard time hitting shots, even with the gimbaled size 4 weapon. Also, another interesting thing about the Harbinger is that the man turret that all of these ships have is equipped with rocket pods on this one. If you plan on having someone use this turret, I'd probably swap these out for some other size 2 guns because it's hard to land shots with these rocket pods and they run out of ammo very quickly, but be careful because I've heard that unequipping these rocket pods makes them disappear. In terms of missiles, being a bombing focused variant, this is where the Harbinger shines. On top of the usual loadout of size 2 and 3 missiles that the other Vanguards carry, this one comes with 3 size 5 torpedoes. These are quite deadly against any sort of fighter and can do a substantial amount of damage even to ships of the Vanguard size. So like I said, I'm not a big fan of slow firing cannons, especially on fixed mounts, so I made a few changes to the Harbinger's default loadout. The only change that I felt was really necessary for this ship was the guns. Since the 4 size 2s are going to be fixed anyway, I decided to go for a fixed size 5 just to get maximum damage output, and I ended up going for all laser repeaters since I don't want to have to worry about ammo when I'm doing missions. If you plan on using this ship for PvP though, I would recommend a ballistic setup, but I'd probably still go with all fixed weapons. As for the other components, the Harbinger comes with a great quantum drive and has plenty of cooling and power. So the only other thing you might want to swap out are the grade 4 military shields. You can swap these out to the grade 1 FR-76s. This is an expensive upgrade though, and I didn't feel like I needed it for just doing NPC missions, but it is an option if you want the best. And here's a look at that size 5 laser repeater that I installed. It really is massive. So I really like this loadout on this ship, and if you want easy mode for PvE missions, this ship is a good choice. It's pretty nimble for its size, and because of that, it can deal with everything from light fighters to bigger ships like Constellations. And if you're feeling lazy, you can always unleash those torpedoes and make quick work of most of your enemies. As long as you don't run into an asteroid, you should have no issues doing any sort of combat mission with this ship. Moving on to my general thoughts about these ships, again I have mixed feelings about them. They are very strong as heavy fighters right now, but are very limited in some ways. First of all, the size 2 nose guns do make for a cool appearance, but they're often not that useful. Even though you have 4 of them, size 2s just really don't do that much, and they'll do even less once armor makes more of a difference in terms of what size weapon can hurt what type of ship. And also, they're very limited in their range. Going up against smaller fighters, they can be pretty useful since you'll want to be closer to be able to land shots anyway, but if you're going against bigger targets and you're trying to keep your distance, then these size 2s aren't very useful. Also, for being basically the heavy fighter, the damage output of the Vanguard series just seems a little low. Don't get me wrong, they still get the job done and are perfectly capable, but I just find it strange how they're on the same level of damage output as something like the Freelancer series and are outgunned by the Prowler. Also, the interior needs a bit of a bug fix pass. I ran into a few minor annoyances while using this, like the doors are pretty hard to activate because the button often isn't where you think it's going to be. Also, it's very easy to accidentally get into the turret, and you can get into it without even looking up at it, which can be pretty annoying since the animation for getting in and out of the turret takes a long time. Also, neither of the beds work, which has been a bigger annoyance for me lately, because often in doing authorized execution warrant missions, I have to swap servers a lot, so it would be very convenient to be able to just log out in the beds. But if you get in the beds now, you're just stuck in there with no way to get out, and you can't even backspace to respawn. Overall though, the Vanguards are still very good ships right now, even though I am a bit confused by some of their design choices. Especially with the Harbinger and the Sentinel only being about 2 million credits in game right now, it's a great time to check out these ships if you haven't before. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please be sure to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.